Okay, this is first in a series of videos I'm going to call Quantified Cooking for the Multitasker. A lot of times people need to make food while they're doing other things, taking care of other business, or just simply logging onto YouTube and browsing videos. So what I like to do is get everything that I need in one place. And I'm going to show you a couple things that you need to know. Just real basic cooking stuff, and then we'll cover it in this one, and then in all the other videos you'll know about it. Okay, you're going to need things like measuring cups. They're really handy. Sure, you can eyeball stuff and just guess, but it's better to have it. You're going to need something like a cutting board. It's nice to have a knife. This is my favorite knife. I use this knife to do just about everything. You need to be able to maintain your knife. I use a diamond hone to do that, and I'll show you the technique for that in just a minute. Sharpening the knife is not a mystery, okay? With a knife like this that is extremely thin, okay, has a very thin edge on it, all you really want to do is wipe the knife back and forth on a wet diamond hone. You don't have to do it very often, just a few, back and forth, like that, and it's sharp. Because I don't have a tripod here, a lot of this stuff is going to be silly, but when you hold vegetables to cut, do not hold them like this, you'll cut your fingertips. You want to hold them like this, and you want to rub the knife against your knuckles. Okay, so when you're cutting, chop, 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 and you make the pieces for ramen bigger than you would. You don't want to dice the onions into tiny little pieces. For Japanese style type cutting, you want to have irregular pieces of the carrot and stuff like this. You want everything to be kind of pretty to look at, but you also want to have fairly large chunks because it's going to be boiled. Okay, that's about the size that you're looking for on an onion slice. Quarter, 5/16. Just quarter an onion, quarter it again, so you have a little bit. This is more than enough onion. Now if you find that you have any pieces that you feel are too big, you can just chop them up a little bit. You don't have to be real precise about this, okay? Get all your food prepped ahead of time, and then you can just start dumping it in the pot. Now what I like to do at this point, when I start cooking, what I mean by quantified cooking is I want everything to go as fast as possible. So really, what I would have done, instead of making a video, is I would have started heating my water on high. And I leave that sucker on high the whole time. For ramen, just keep that heat all the way up. You want 2 cups of water for a pack of ramen. You can use any kind of ramen you want, any kind of flavor you want. I'll show you more about flavoring that in a second. This is how you start. Just throw the whole brick of ramen in there, and open up the powder packet, pile it right on top. One of my favorite seasonings is cayenne. Cayenne is really good for you in a whole lot of ways. First of all, it gets you ready for that pepper spray that's going to be coming your way sooner than you think. I like a lot of cayenne. But you don't have to use cayenne. You can use onion powder, garlic powder, anything you want. Now I'm going to show you how we size up these other vegetables. Okay. As you can see, I've got my onions started first. Okay, things that are hard, that need to cook the longest, need to be put in first. Things that cook really fast, like broccoli, go in last. Okay, so I've got a couple little string beans here, and these are pretty much string beans I salvaged from the fridge. The rest of them are looking pretty brown and wilted, but the nice thing about soup is that you can use food that's not entirely beautiful because it's going to get boiled anyway. With green beans, you don't want to eat the strings. Okay. So you can either snap those off or clip those off, and then you're going to cut them into about 3 pieces. Okay, like the onions, these are going to need to cook more than anything else. So that's basically just enough for one little meal. 3 or 4 green beans, a little bit of onion. Onion cooks down a lot, so you don't have to worry about it. Now I'm going to show you about the pepper. Okay, parts of the pepper that are inedible, okay, that would be this whole top chunk. Okay, the way you do is you reach your 2 fingers in there after you cut it in half, and you just break it right out. Okay. And then you'll see that there might be a few little seeds and stuff, and this little white part that's not that tasty. And depending on how much pepper you want, okay, I'm only going to use a little bit of this. I'm going to cut it in half and cut it in half again. So I'm using basically 1/8 of a pepper. Okay, and this is enough pepper for what I'm trying to do. Okay, as you can see, the ramen is still not boiling or anything, so I got still plenty of time to do this. Now, what I like to use is I use my knife just to slide everything right into the sink. So I work fairly close to the sink, and everything just goes right to the sink, and I deal with it later. I'm working fast. I don't want to mess around. Now, when you're slicing something like this, okay, I'll show you as best I can. Once again, that knuckle technique. Okay, you need a nice sharp knife, and I'm slicing it longwise. This and the little lengths, and I pile it all together, okay, like that. You can see that. And then, again, I just cut it into thirds, like I did with the green beans, big chunks. Nice big chunks, because everything's going to cook down and get soft. You don't have to have tiny little diced pieces. So now we've got the hard stuff that needs to cook the longest. Okay, I'm going to show you how I deal with the carrot. The carrot I deal with by holding it over the pot, and then I slice it just like you're sharpening a pencil. Just slice at an angle into little slivers, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, I've improvised a little tripod here so you can watch the technique, okay? I slice it right into the pot, just like I'm sharpening a pencil. See how that works? What that does is that gives you nice, long, skinny, little tiny carrot pieces that are fun to eat. Okay? Little round pieces or long pieces that are cut into the traditional julienne type pieces just don't look Asian to me, and they just really aren't that much fun to eat. These suckers will get nice and soft along with everything else. Now the water is finally starting to boil. Okay? Now the thing about ramen is you don't want to really have to cook it very long. So once it actually starts to boil, that's when the timer is your friend. Get on the timer, put in 3 minutes. Okay? That way you'll know when it's ready to go. Okay, we are ready for some broccoli action, and you don't want to eat this part of the broccoli with my hands on. You want just the part that's showing. That's what you want. The rest of it, history. Okay, and with broccoli, okay, there's plenty of ways that you can cut it, but as you can see, it's a flower. It comes up like this. So if you cut it into long, like this, then you're not going to have all the little green pieces falling off into a powder. Now, if you're making something like anything that you don't like the looks of, just get rid of it. And this is the kind of shape that you're looking for. Okay, those look like great big pieces. And that's up to you. If you like them a little bit smaller, you can keep dissecting them up. But these will cook very fast. Let's put that right into the boil. Okay? And as you said, like you notice, I use this knife for everything. I use it to scrape the cutting board. I use it to stir the soup. Everything. Look at those noodles. They're already soft. Okay? Now, I'm going to cook this until the timer beeps. When the timer beeps, I'm going to show you the last part of this deal, which is the essential part. And that's the egg drop. And that's what's going to add the protein. Okay, right now you got plenty of roughage. You got some starch. You got a little bit of salt. You got some flavor in there. Certainly enough to keep a college student or a broke-ass computer modder alive. It makes a nice lunch. Okay. The next step will be the egg. Okay, the timer has beeped. Everything has cooked for about 3 minutes. Now you can see that everything's got a nice bright green color. And oddly enough, okay, I like to eat my ramen with a fork. Okay, it lets me pick up all of the noodles and all the vegetables and whatnot without them falling off the spoon. Right, and you can see I'm still cooking it even after the timer's gone. You're going to be cooking this for a total of about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You can feel that the vegetables are still fairly hard. You want them to be crunchy because you don't want to take the vitality out of them. Overcooking vegetables just kills the actual nutrients that's in them. So what you're trying to do is get things soft enough that they're not crunch, crunch, crunch to eat, but crunchy enough and green enough that they're still yummy. Okay? Now we do the egg. Okay? Take an egg, crack it, drop it, stir it. Okay? And there you go. Okay, you can now turn off the heat, and when it stops bubbling, it'll be ready to eat. Okay, you can see it's boiling, but it's slowing down. Okay, that's definitely part of the process. Wait till the timer goes, crack the egg, stir it, turn the heat off, and let it stop bubbling. Then you dump it in a bowl. The whole thing will fit in this one bowl. Okay? And what I like to do, this is part of my quantified cooking multitasking, is to make everything go fast as I do all my cleanup while that's happening. So that when I eat, I don't have to clean up. Alright, and there you have it. It's ready to eat. Massive ramen that's not just eating some noodles because you're so broke you don't know what else to do. It's easy, it's something anybody can do, and I hope it helps you guys out. Enjoy. The wife came in while I was making this video, accused me of being a YouTube addict, posting everything I do on YouTube, and then she tasted my ramen, and she declared that it was delicious, but maybe needed a little more cayenne. So there you have it.